All right, looks like we're live. Wednesday, November 17th. Couple days left in the week. Um, Options expiration on Fridays, the monthly, November 19th. So, should see a lot of action potentially in the next couple days. What are we looking at here? Quite a few people in here already. Noir, what's up? Got the coffee. Uh, Joey G, good morning. Sweet baby Prog, yeah. It's I got it on the daily view too. Let me look this. So right now with Prog, we're looking at it's looking it's at 580 right now. It hit as high as 630, I think, this morning. 639. So it's moving. I would have thought that we would have saw more movement from the option chain. We'll look at that in a second, but um almost everything's buried in the money now, which is that 750 strike with still a ton of open interest. Also thought they would maybe add on new options today because of where it closed yesterday, but we didn't see that either. Brian Sanders, what's up? 6-8 spin drift. Good morning. Shrimply. Michael LaClove Nostra. Man, I know I didn't stream yesterday, but Clove was frustrating on Monday night. Bounced back yesterday, but that offering, pretty frustrating. Josh Stewart, what's up? Sly Dev, Pete, Dan, hello. Andy Smith says, good morning, coach and crew. Glad Clove went back up a bit. Um, didn't get some money shifted around in time to buy the dip. Yeah. I said glad to have you back today. I was already planning. I think I said it on Monday on not streaming on Tuesday just because I went to the Niner game on Monday night and got in kind of late. And yeah, I just figured I wouldn't be worth anything yesterday morning. Michael says, before we dig on the wonderful, beautiful Prague, can we talk about the 35 million pound elephant in the room? Yeah, we will too. Actually, maybe we'll start with that. We'll start with Clove. Let me catch up on the chat, and we absolutely will. Slide Dev said, "Are we playing the white elephant? I forgot to bring a gift." CEI moving again. Yeah, 134 right now. Huh. Let's see here. Bob C, good morning. Week's going great right now. I mean, the Prog's been killing it. I'm expecting a little bit more today, so that makes me feel better about about where Clove's trading at right now. But absolutely, Cuckoo Bird, what's up? Um, Cuckoo Bird with the super chat, right on. Said thanks for Prague. Yeah, I still think we're gonna. I appreciate it, thank you, but I still think we got a little bit more room on Prague too this morning. Turks in the house, what's up? I saw you tweeted. Hut got an upgraded price target today to 20. Might see some action there too. Um, SMJ, JJ, Paul Jones says Prague week, 10 to 11 per share. Yeah, I was just saying on the Discord, I'm thinking at least 8 on Prague. Just because of the options chain, and that's all I'm looking at there. That's giving me that kind of number. But there's so much short interest in Prague too. We'll look at that stuff in a little bit, but that who knows? I mean, it can go way higher. I know. I shot low on VIH. I was saying, maybe 20, and then I sold most of everything at 30, and it kept going. I don't even remember how high, but so yeah. Ecom, what's up? Big Nate. Louis, Present Minds, good morning. All right. So, yeah, Clove, I don't know. I mean, yesterday I was pretty busy. Monday when the news dropped, I was getting ready to go to the football game. But for anyone who I'm sure everyone's kind of seen it by now. Um, we had such a great day on Monday. Hit as high as 768, closed I think at 760. Then they announced the share offering, all the way down to 675. Touched 665 yesterday. We look at the daily chart. It's almost near all-time lows of 631. Um, you know, that was way back in March. But we also touched down here in May, right before we took off too. I forget how low it was, but 659 ish. So we're kind of in that all-time low territory. Um, and I don't know. I mean, I know there's been a ton of speculation as to why Clove, would have did the share offering. I really don't understand it. I mean, if you were gonna offer shares, you know, you would think you do it when the stock's trading at a higher rate, especially when they had said to have enough cash on hand to, I think, make it through 2022. And they also just said on the earnings call that they were going to, you know, basically they were operating at almost break even this last quarter, and they were expecting profitability in the near future. So it doesn't make sense as to why they would want to get more cash on hand. I know there was some speculation as maybe they were like gonna look for an acquisition. Um, I don't know, you know, but I'm sure we'll hear something, especially once they announce that they're done with the offering. Um, my the one thing I should say, my conviction in the stock hasn't changed. I mean, the short term, has changed a lot in terms of not my conviction, but it's like from the very beginning, what drew me to this play, when I decided to turn it into a long term investment was, the AI, the tech, and all that's still there. And I've been saying this, anyone, if you go back all the way to June, I mean, or before June, I'm sorry, like April, May, there's been times where it's like, hey, this is a great play. I think this stock should be trading at $20. And we have this gamma squeeze potential coming in, which just makes it better. And then those came and went. We did hit a gamma squeeze in June. There was other opportunities that were missed with the gamma squeezes, and then it's like, okay, this is a great play, should be trading a lot higher, and it's also got short squeeze potential. And I still think there's maybe a little bit of that too. But I guess what I'm getting at is this is still a great play. This is still a great investment. Nothing's changed. I still think this stock should be trading above $20 a share. I still think this is a great investment. I'm still holding my shares. I still plan on maybe adding on a little bit once I kind of get out of this prog play completely. But, you know, um, if the company's trying to raise capital, there's obviously a reason. They already stated that they had enough cash to get them through 2022. So I would imagine it's for some sort of expansion, um, could be acquisition. I don't really think so, but could be. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Yeah, it sucks in the short term, but I really think this is a long-term play, and I think it's becoming more of a long-term play. I know some people came into this stock hoping for short-term gains, and unfortunately, those people didn't didn't get it. But for me, it's always been, hey, I'm gonna get into this for the long haul. If we squeeze, I'll sell, and then I'm jumping back in for the long haul. Well, we haven't, since June at least. I mean, I sold a lot in June and bought back in, and now kind of doing the same thing, like holding for the long haul. And if we see short term action, cool. If not, I'm still in. So nothing's changed there. It's just a little frustrating, but I think we'll yesterday showed that, we had a ton of buyers, and I'll pull up the Fintel on that real quick. Um, you know, institutions have been buying the hell out of this stock, and there was all kinds of large block orders coming in yesterday when we saw this stock below $7. I mean, tons of large orders pouring in. And if you look at like even the filings, I haven't looked at this, but let's see here. A lot of this is the quarterly filings that coming up too. But where we at? Increase in 81% increase in shares from Charles Schwab, 70% increase in shares from Seacrest. I don't know what's up with that, like these smaller reportings. 4% increase, new buy of 34,000 shares, 11% increase. Someone sold some calls. Jane Street got rid of some calls and puts and shares, so they just reduced their position all the way around. Perceptive Advisors still holding their shares. So I mean, there's been all kinds of action. I mean, and again, some new buys, but I'd imagine we're going to see these continue to keep rolling in, especially as with all those large block orders we saw coming in yesterday at those low prices. So yeah, my conviction hasn't changed on Clove. If anything, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and say, oh yeah, this is bullish. I mean, I just, to me, the timing was a little bad. But I'm sure the company has a reason for it, and we'll hear it. Let me see here. Turt says, Melly, SoFi, a few others did public offerings. Not a big deal. Lots of toots buying in large purchases. Clove looking long term. Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like from the beginning, for me, it's always been this is a great play. And then occasionally there's been something else to get excited about, right? And a lot of that stuff since June hasn't really panned out. It looked like we were kind of heading there. When was that? In September. We had kind of a little bit of a gamma ramp. We had that, everything going on there. And then we kind of lost momentum around $11 or whatever and kind of came right back down to where we were. But, I still think this is a stock that's going to be trading triple digits down the road. A couple years from now, I still think this is a stock that should be trading, 20 plus in the short term. It just got to wait it out, or at least that's my plan. Looks like Turt says that too. Could see expansion into other states who need capital. I agree with that. That's kind of where I think that they're going with it. It's more on the expansion side, and who knows? Because Clover is a lot more than insurance too, and a lot more than that. They have so many other, projects that maybe they need capital to kind of get moving forward with something different too. So, like I said, my conviction hasn't changed. It was just frustrating on Monday to see that kind of move, and it's like, okay, cool, we're about to get back above 8, and then that happens, and we head in the other direction. JJ says Prog solving my Clove frustrations. Absolutely, that's kind of where I'm at too. I just realized I'm not on a live chat. Let me switch that over. All right. Turt says, didn't short positions increase on Clove yesterday? Yeah, I saw, like I said, I was kind of busy yesterday, but I saw someone post that on Twitter, and I also saw early in the day, I had threw a screenshot up on the Discord for someone who asked for it. But So yeah, so right now with Clove, 15% short or almost 16%. Utilization's definitely ticking up. We're at 83 now. So yeah, but see what I didn't get was I saw. Let me see if I can make this bigger too. Um, the screenshot I saw said short interest changed at 19%. But the current short interest was lower than 19%. So I didn't really understand it. And I didn't, like I said, I was busy. I didn't get a chance to look at it. But as of this morning, it's sitting right around 16. Um, cost to borrow still low, utilization still low. Um, let's see. Hey, Wes, good morning. Zeke for Bleak. So, yeah, in terms of Clove, we're seeing institutional buys. I'd imagine we're probably gonna um, hear something soon. One, about them completing the offering. Two, probably some sort of explanation as to why. Maybe we get the explanation, but either way, even just them saying that they completed the offering, I think will all of a sudden, could serve as a mini catalyst. Um, Usually, anytime any sort of news hits on a ticker, you'll see, it could serve as a potential catalyst. So, Dennis D, what's up? Good morning, Zeke for Bleak. Michelle. Let's see. Ecom says Clove kicked me off their Discord because I said buy Clove at 3. Yeah. Um. Man, I think they kicked Ghost off the Discord recently too, for promoting the earnings call. I don't know what's going on there. Um, Sad, uh, but let's see here. So, where we at? We talked a little bit about Clove already. We might as well. Well, I guess I'll bring this up. So, normally I'll go through and kind of pull up, what looks like potential plays, for day trading and everything. Well, not surprisingly, Prog popped up as number one. So the other two, Go EV, we're looking at 111 million float. Max Payne's at 850, so it's trading well above there. And I don't know why I brought that up for day trading. It's just something that I've been looking at recently, but it did spike up huge in after hours. I mean, it hit as high as 1360, back down to 1177. And that's one that if you're looking to day trade, that's probably should keep on your watch list today. And then the other one was LCID. Finished the day at 55, hit as high as 61. Lucid's been running for a while now, coming back down to 56. But these are two that's a much bigger market cap, 1.6 billion. Both are seeing a ton of volume this morning already. Go EV 8.3 million, Lucid 17 million. So those are the other two I would potentially watch for day trades, at least right now. That's what's popping up for me. But I'm probably not even going to have time to be day trading today. So Prog, let's take a look at it. Like I said, it hit 639 this morning. Let me see. Zoom out a little bit and just see the price action yesterday. Let me put this on a 5-minute real quick. So yesterday, right off the open, I mean, this thing popped up and got above $5, and then it looked like it was trying to get back there all day. Tapped it again, went up to 512. It kept kind of flirting with it. Then in after hours, once it got past there, it ripped up to 542, and this morning 639. It is still. I'm just a little shocked because with the 140 million float, that's a lot of calls. And, um, you know, this is saying this, by the way, there's usually this delta right here. This algorithm changes once we open up because it wasn't like that yesterday, and I know it's not updating overnight. So I think it just shows it like that a lot of times in pre-market, because it's kind of guesstimating. This is actually moving right now too with the price. So, anyways, what I was getting at was I would imagine that a lot of these calls being so deep in the money would have pushed us and at least propelled us to 750, where we have even more there. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna check that as soon as the market opens and kind of see where it's at. But um, I do think that the option chain has been providing that fuel for it to run higher. Um, but having this many buried so deep in the money, closer to options expiration, I think we're gonna get a nice push today too. Um, and if we cross 750, that's 4.6 million shares again, and we're just looking at one chain there that would need to be hedged as well. So I do think there's a lot of room for movement still in Prague. I keep getting asked like, how high is it going to go? And I mean, shit, like I said earlier, I have no idea. For me, I'm targeting at least 8 because the chain ends at 750. But the way that I usually will play that, and this is kind of what I did with VIH BKKT as well, was like once it got past that mark, then it was like, okay, now that's my new floor. If it comes down and falls below that, I'm getting out completely. But, now I'll start scaling out on the way up because no one knows how high these things are going to run. Um, and there is a significant amount of short interest in this stock too. So I'm just talking gamma squeeze right now on that side of it. But then when you look at the Ortex data, I mean, there's also 26% short interest. Cost to borrow seems to be down this morning. Huh. Only 50% on average. It opened the day at 90, so that average cost to borrow is going down. Utilization's still there. 40% of the free float on loans. So definitely can get really interesting this morning. And, I think, but I think there's still way more room for growth. And I think we're going to see more eyes on this stock too now. I mean, I noticed way more people tweeting about it yesterday. And it's kind of just done this little stair-stepping pattern, which we've been watching for a while. But I have a feeling that this is my feeling, at least, because the options are so deep in the money and we're so high. I think the stair-stepping might be over. It's gonna, I would expect whatever movement's gonna happen to happen in the next couple of days. So that's my take, at least. Let me make sure and look too. Max Payne. I know it's not where we're at now, but see, and that's continuing to rise. It's at $3 now. So it's kind of just tailing behind it. Josh says, so hard when to decide to cash out my calls on Prog. Yeah. I'm kind of the way that I always do it is, sell some and then, try to like take care of, so that you're almost like playing for free, and then you could feel a little bit better about letting it ride up, but you still always want to take profits. You know what I mean? I did sell some calls yesterday, and so the calls that I have going right now are 100% free. But now my plan is to kind of like see what happens if we can get up to 8. But with options, it's like, one, you could make so much more money, right? So it's a lot easier for, on a 30% day like yesterday to be up 300% on your calls. And when you're up 300%, you could sell, a third of your position in calls and again, take care of your initial investment. So, I also, right at the open yesterday, I don't know. I just had this feeling on that dip. Let me go back. Most of my calls were all for like further out. I think I had December's and even January's, but where we at? Yesterday morning, right as we were dipping, not at the bottom, but just somewhere in here, I grabbed a bunch of $5 calls for this week for November 19th. Because it kind of looked like it had that momentum pushing already. And so, yeah, this ended up being a pretty nice play. So, but I don't think it's over yet. Let's see here. I saw Turks. Oh, there we go. SEH pick up on dip before D-SPACs this quarter. Yeah, SEAH is one that I know Ghost was talking about. I didn't even notice that thing dipped down to 1050 this morning. And no news either. That's crazy. That's one Ghost was talking about a while back. It's a SPAC, so $10 is NAV. It looks like it's where closed at 1188. It's trading a little bit lower right now. I don't know if we looked at this on. I would imagine. I was just telling them the other day too that I feel like I missed the boat on that one, but I guess not. I mean, we're still at. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one for anyone who's unfamiliar. It's I think they're merging. It's a SPAC, but they're merging with. Is it Betway? Yeah, Betway. So it's going to be kind of like a DraftKings style play. Um, but DraftKings also does a daily fantasy, but this is more of like an online gambling type thing. And I think they're supposed to be merging soon. Is what I remember hearing. So yeah, I may even move some into this too. It's funny, I was just looking at like what I was gonna get into after I kind of take my profits on Prog. And let me see here. VG, I just seen you. Good morning. Yeah, Betway's what it was. So SEAH is one, and then Louis just brought up the other one, Blink. That's the one that I was going to talk about next because I don't know. The more I look at this, like my calls that I've grabbed the other day are already doing great, and then I was just looking at IV, and it's still relatively low considering that this is a squeeze play too. The entire chain on Blink is at 107%. I think where was I at? January's. Yeah, I think I got January 55s and way out here. That's not bad. 2 months out. I mean, but because IV's so cheap, you could even go further. But I really like this play right now. It is, trading at 44. It kind of looks like it's doing almost that same little stair stepper. There is a gap here that's pretty significant, all the way down to what, 36 ish. But, max pain on this one is, I think, about 39. It's relatively low float, 36 million. Kind of a retail favorite too. Like once it gets moving, I think you could see a lot of people start rolling into this. 37% short interest. Cost to borrow hasn't been moving much, but utilization's at 100. So this could be like the next kind of squeeze. You know what I mean? Not a gamma squeeze potential right now that I could see. Matter of fact, let's look at Trady Ticks and check it out. But I do like BLNK. I mean, I already have some calls, but I may even grab some more. Um, that might be something that I go a little bit heavier into. So looking at trading ticks on this, bullish flow, bullish algorithm sentiment, gamma exposure starting to ramp up, 1 million. Like I said, max pain's around 39. Right now, the stock is trading at 43. So it's already kind of over here. There's not a lot going on, but there is some significant strikes at 45, 50. That, if this thing started moving, potentially we could see it, kind of explode. And then, previous highs of 65. I don't know. This is kind of probably the next play that I'm going to be looking into, really getting into and start adding on and accumulating. Hopefully I don't miss it. But like I said, if I do have some calls right now, but if Prog ends up, taking off today and that ends up being my exit, I'll probably be rolling a lot into BLNK. Let's see. And then the other one, AGC. Okay. This one's been kind of strange. We talked about the other day how Max Payne just kind of tails it on the way up, but it's kind of we had this big dip and then it recovered, but where it closed at 1508, it's trading at 1480 right now. I believe Max Payne is $14. So that could change things. I mean, if all of a sudden it gets below that Max Payne mark, I'll be looking to exit. Max Payne, there is only monthlies on this. And so if we look, Max Payne for next month's 13. So that's basically, if it can get through this Friday above Max Payne, I think this play's still pretty strong. Because this Friday it's at 14. But we just want to see it trading above that because it does have potential. There is a catalyst coming this month, or in the next 2 months, potentially, with the merger announcement. I didn't check the news on that. I don't believe anything was said yesterday. Yeah, nothing there. Looking at the option chain, this is a much smaller float, 40 million. So there is some nice, this is for this week though. Let's look at next week or next month. Starting to build up. IV's kind of getting a lot higher than when we first started talking about this play, but yeah, I'm still liking AGC. I just, for me, like the calls that I bought on AGC, I wanted to be in next year because the potential catalyst is either going to be this month or next month. So I don't want to be sitting on November or December calls, is what I had originally said. And that's, to me, that still applies. I still think that this has some nice potential. 31% short interest. Cost to borrow is actually going up. Damn, 251 on average right now. 99 utilization. So this could get moving a little bit sooner. But my my initial thought on this was, the other reason I like to get calls a little bit further out is so you don't screw yourself, right? Like we're sitting here talking about Max Payne and how if it gets below Max Payne, I kind of want to exit the play. Well, being in January calls or even April calls for that matter gives you a ton of time premium, so that if all of a sudden it gets pinned and you want to exit, there's still going to be some meat left on that options contract, so you could still sell it and exit for a decent, even though it's going to be a loss, not as much of a loss. So anyways, AGC, I'm still riding with, and I think that, if all of a sudden we get that merger, kind of like finalized announcement and everything, that could be the catalyst that pushes it. And, this one I think has, some like VIH, you know, BKKT potential because of the low float, because of the short interest. You have the whole D-SPAC thing that's been happening lately. And so I could really see this one fly, but it may take a month or two. Or it could be tomorrow. I have no idea. Where we at? All right, Greg says, what's max pain mean? So, max pain is basically where, I'll just pull up Prog, for instance. I can find it. All right, so max pain on Prog's way down here at $3. That's where puts outweigh calls below 3 and calls outweigh the puts above 3. I'm looking wrong chain, but either way. Okay, so, the theory is that, market makers would want to pin a stock to that number so that all these people over here lose their money. I'm sorry, all these people down here lose their money and all these people up here lose their money. So it's that midpoint in the option chain where, like how a casino would want to see, taking in sports bets, really 50-50 on both sides. And then they rake in the juice. Well, in this sense, they get to rake in everything. That's like the price point where the most people lose, whether they're bullish on a stock or bearish on a stock. And typically, like with most stocks, I don't even think it's an issue. But when you get kind of these ones that are running an IV through the roof, like right now, Prog's IV is 375%. For this month's chain, there becomes more incentive because options pricing becomes, way higher. And so it's way more lucrative for them to rake in those premiums and then pin the stock and, basically let the options expire worthless. So that's why I've just been trying to follow it, because what's been happening with a lot of these stocks is if they're trading right around max pain, they just get manipulated and stuck there, So lately, the strategy that I've been taking on is waiting until we're trading above max pain and then jump into play. And that way, because shit, I'd say 9 times out of 10 those, and then I'm just making that number up, but you get the point. Most of the time, these stocks end up getting pinned right there. So just kind of been keeping me out of plays that I otherwise in the past probably would have jumped into. Scotty, what's up? What's going on? Chef Daddy, what's up? Good morning. All right, so we talked a little bit about Prog, talked about AGC, talked about Clov, BLNK. Let me see here. So outside of that, I would talked about last week or earlier in this week. I was kind of looking through the FinTel list, trying to see like what I think the next plays could potentially be. And 2 that I brought up were well, besides Blink, was BTBT. But now that one's, speaking of max pain, ended up falling below. So I think that was right around here, and we were saying, okay, if it can jump above 1250, that's when we would want to jump in, but it broke in the opposite direction. So right now, I got this alert set here too, just in case it went above. But so right now, this fell in the opposite direction. Max pain is sitting there at 1250. So again, this is one I'm going to put on the back burner until it gets there. Skills was the other one, and same thing. Max pain's at 1250. It broke in the opposite direction. I'll still be waiting. If it gets above there, cool. Then I'll start looking for an entry point. because otherwise, again, I think a lot of these plays, especially these high short interest plays, they'll just play games with them. They'll let it rise up, let people come in and load up on options, and then pin it right back down. And we've seen that happen with too many stocks now. So yeah, those are two that I did have on the watch list. They're still there. They're just an update. I'm not looking to jump in on any of those right now. And that's what I'm looking for is that break above, like maybe get us about $13. Now I'll jump in for the play. Other than that, DraftKings is really frustrating right now. It's been about 3 weeks now, I think. We've actually had some good news too recently. Mobile sports betting partnership with Boot Hill Casino and Resort. There's been price target. Oh, we had a price target cut, I guess. But either way, I was kind of looking for it to hold here. It kept going down. We do have, I think this might be an all, or let me see here. These are just some levels that I drew out a long time ago. Just looking for this thing to bounce and reverse. But still sitting in there. This is more of a long-term play though. I'm looking at DraftKings. For an exit maybe like February-ish. I may even have to push that out now to like May, just because it's trending in the wrong direction. And I already got in, so I'm not so yeah. But DraftKings is more of a longer swing for me. I'm still sitting on that one. The other two that I've had for quite some time now, BNGO, still relatively flat, nothing going on. AVXL, I think we could see some movement. It had this nice little run, kind of came down. Maybe it looks like it's taking a bounce. So that's one that, maybe keep your eye on, as it might look to go hit these all-time highs. But anyways, Josh says, what do you think about AMC? I actually think, AMC and GameStop, charts look fairly damn similar. I do think that they're due for another run. I mean, you could sit here and draw lines on these charts all day. They've been kind of forming these flags forever, and I mean, you could have went and drew this one, and then said, "Oh, look, it's breaking out," and then it just becomes a longer and longer and longer flag. But, I do feel like it's coming, and I don't know if it's going to be like a big pop, but I do feel like AMC trading above 45 can get a little crazy, and potentially go try to test this high from back in June. I know what was it? Where's my anyone who's been around for a while? We know we got we were talking about those future rollover dates a while back, and that was, when was that? September. So here we go. Back in September, we had like the rollover date of September 9th, and that was when we were expecting, like leading up to right around there, there to be like a kind of a big push. And if we go to September, where we at here? It was like the weeks leading up to it. So I think if that was September 9th, right here, you could see that it kind of what was that? Starting, that was about a month earlier. It kind of started rolling, and nothing really came out of it. but we were expecting a pop, but those dates are coming up again. So, and with GameStop, it's like every 3 months, it looks like it always gets a big, kind of a big push. Last times wasn't as big. It started coming up and it never went up and hit up here again. Again, that's coming up again now. So I think that these ones could see potentially some explosive movements. I'm still holding GME. I have been for quite some time. I could sit here and talk for days about why I think GameStop is still going to explode, or why I'm willing to hold it. And I don't, because I'm just kind of content with it. The company's doing so much right now that I think GameStop's time will come, and I just kind of have that sitting off to the side, and one day it'll happen. Where we at? Kenneth says, Coach, you remember checking out ASTS from me back in August? Have a peek again. Interesting company if their concept hits. Curious if you see anything. I do not. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I remember you asking, and then I actually found a subreddit on and I think I'm even like a member of the subreddit, and I was reading a little bit about it for a while, and then occasionally like a post will pop up, but it's been so long I don't even remember exactly what it was. But I remember I joined that ASTS subreddit back then just so because I was following and starting to look into it and stuff. But pretty interesting. It's like I think it's like a space mobile type thing, right? Um, Patrick said, miss anything on Clove? Not really. I mean, my conviction's still there. Nothing's changed on the long term thesis. I still like the stock. I still think that, in terms of what the company's doing, still think this is going to be a huge play down the road. Something that's trading for triple digits. I still think it should be trading well above where it's at right now. Just kind of frustrating with the offering, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. I'm sure they need capital for something. Some people have said acquisition. I think maybe it's to help with expansion, but I'm sure there's a reason for it, and we're seeing a ton of institutional buying pop rolling in. So it is what it is. It was just kind of frustrating, on Monday to see all that momentum lost. But this is a longer term investment, and I think that's just part of it. Thomas says on Prog, when would the covering start potentially? Um, I don't know. I'm gonna be monitoring Ortex. There's really no way to know. It's like, when did shorts enter, right? If you come back here, it looks like there was a high over here of $8. If people have been shorting that long, you know, uh, anything above that would put them underwater. Um, there's also an all-time high of 16, but I doubt anyone's been shorting since back there. I mean, why the hell wouldn't you have exited at 66 cents, right? But I guess the same thing could be said even for anyone who shorted from back here down to 66 cents. So, I mean, you would think a lot of these people would have already been underwater, even anyone who shorted from 4. So it's really, I don't know enough about like the long term, when, yeah, who knows? But I'll be watching Ortex. And I mean, as we look at it today, I mean, the short interest has declined a little bit, but there's still, where we at? There's still 26% short interest. There's still 43% of the free float on loan. The other thing though is too, with volume the way it's been, like with Prog, 18 million in volume already in pre-market. I mean, shit. Shorts could get out and you wouldn't even know the difference, right? If all of a sudden there's some huge explosive move, if we see another day like yesterday, I forget what yesterday's volume was, but I think it was like 300 million. You see that many shares traded, shorts can get out in the middle of that easily. And like I said, you probably wouldn't even see the difference because volume's so high. Um, so, that's why I said I wouldn't. No one knows how high this thing can go. But for me, I'm using the options chain as kind of a gauge. Once we get above there, that's where I'm really gonna be like, okay, if it falls back below this, I am out because yeah, it could explode a lot higher if people start getting forced to buy back and everything else. But there's no way to know that they didn't already. You know, so even right now, with pre-market volume at 18 million, you could have had this could have been shorts covering, on the way up. And then other people taking profits and then shorts covering again. There's really no way of knowing because all Ortex is looking at is the shares on loan, right? And so I could have covered. Now I hold those shares and then I return them later on. I mean that data isn't precise to the minute. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Faith, what's up? Says, good morning, coach. Happy hump day, Clov fam. Glad my Lucid and Prog helping me temper my frustrations with Clov. Yeah. See, I wasn't on Lucid, but I'm glad you're making some money on that one. But yeah, that's the same way I feel with Prog right now. It's definitely helping temper some frustrations. Thomas says it's a wait till Friday thing. Typically, and who knows? I mean, when you talk about like a gamma squeeze, right? Like it's already there. They didn't add anything to the option chain today, so once it gets past 750, wherever it moves, like this move above 750, if it happens, could propel the stock up to $9. Could propel it up to 12. It could just move it to 8. But after that, the option chain is over. And then if it starts falling back below, now you start seeing an unwind too. So I don't know that I'm necessarily going to wait till Friday. It's just if we see another day like today, and this thing takes off well above the option chain, I'm going to start scaling out because I was kind of hoping they would have added options today. Because if they would have added in, let's say, an 8 and 850, a $9 strike, we potentially could have seen a lot more movement. But if they wait, let's say today ends at 12, I'll just throw out a number. Let's say this thing shoots up to $12 today, and now tomorrow they release the chain up to 24. It's probably over, because then you have people coming in and buying the top of the chain. There's way too much room in there. And you'll slowly see it start to whittle down, as market makers take advantage of this high premium. So, yeah, I don't know. It just depends where you're at, Thomas, and always take profits for sure. If you have if you're playing options, for sure, take profits. Shares are a little bit easier because you can get in and out in pre-market and after hours, right? Michael says, can't believe AMC hasn't been hammered back down to 10. Yeah, but there's something going on there with AMC, GameStop, even Clov for that matter. And there's I'm sure other stocks mixed in there too with, which I really believe like hidden short interest. And there's AMC especially. I mean, there's a ton of people holding that stock that will not sell it. And I mean, shit, there's been a ton of insider selling on AMC and dumping shares, and the stock's still holding a base. And that's because they have a ton of people that are just holding on to it. I know I've said this over and over and over again. When you evaluate the two, I'd much rather be holding GameStop, um, because there is a potential fundamental value down the road in that play. And I'm sure people could make the same argument for AMC, but AMC is still in debt, as far as I know. And I think it'd be a lot harder to like pivot that business model, where GameStop's been pivoting for almost a year now, and kind of showing that. And so I don't know. I feel like, and then the market cap too. Um, it's just insane on AMC. But that being said, I think AMC, because it's a lot cheaper, if those two start moving again, has a lot of potential to move higher because it's a cheaper entry price, and I think that's what draws a lot of people to it. And there's way more investors behind it. So again, I'm not saying that one's gonna go and one isn't and all that, but it is kind of crazy that neither one of them has fell back down. Ecom says 3 minutes until Robinhood users. Yeah, I probably missed that too. Yeah, I did. Damn, that's how far behind I am. That was for right there. That's 6 a.m. when Robinhood comes in. Damn, I'm really behind on the chat. My bad. Fluffer, what's up? Says Prague to the moon. Yeah, let's see it. I'd love to see us push above 6 here and open above 6. Um, Yeah, that's what I thought, Kenneth. That mobile phones using space, all existing cell phones will work on their network. I mean, for a long term play, I think that's huge just because, with everything else, I mean, that's definitely the next, in my opinion, the next tech, right, is going to be anything that has to do with space. We got space travel. Who the hell would have thought that space travel would have been a thing? And you got people going to space now. You have all these companies starting up that are talking about taking people to space, and I mean, it's here, it's happening. And so, um, I think, something like that. Um, they're moving into the right sector. So yeah, I like it. Um, but yeah, it's just crazy how much technology's come. Let's see here. Thomas said basically it's gamma over short squeeze. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, yeah, like basically once it gets past 758 bucks, the gamma squeeze is done, right? That means the option chain already ran through. Any delta hedging that's gonna happen already happened. So now we're just talking about, retail momentum pushing the stock, maybe shorts covering, pushing the stock, and whatever could happen out of a short squeeze. But we're kind of getting near the end of the gamma squeeze right now. Once we blow above 750, if we do, um, I also tend to get to exit early. I'm finding too, which isn't really a bad thing, I guess, because you're taking profits or whatever. SEAH just filed. Let me see that. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see nothing on that one. Um, let's see here. I'm just trying to skip. I'm skipping past a lot of you guys just so I can catch up. Kamal, what's up? Good morning. Danny did it. What's up? Kamal says, read an article how second half offering after IPO is very bullish. One thing I did see with that offering was, I think they said, I don't know the exact numbers, but basically that like members of SoFi were, you know, interested in buying a certain amount of shares. And I mean, if they're doing an offering and it's, Shamath coming in and buying a third of that offering up and increasing his position, or, someone else that's in the company, hell yeah, I think that's bullish. I mean, they know more than we do about what's coming in the future of the company and all that. So, but I don't know. That was just I'm just me looking at Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that. I'm no research that I did. I haven't just haven't had the time recently to really dig into it. Seek says Clover Assistant's going to take people to the moon. Absolutely. Hedges bought all the call options, pressure to minimize the risk when it goes up. Nice hedge for protection against the Pfizer. Well, yeah. So that's the other thing too with Prog, right? That's not that I haven't even really talked about is, I mean, there's in terms of if you want to evaluate this as like a straight up, let's say you take the squeezes and everything else out of it, and you were looking to invest. I mean, there's arguments that could be made that this stock should be trading for a lot higher than where it's at. I think they've been talking about possible like merger acquisition. I mean, it's a pharmaceutical company, so you have so much other stuff going on with it. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, any sort of catalyst like that can really send this thing much higher than where I'm talking about. Cameron says, how many shares of Prog do the market makers need to purchase when it opens over 6? It really depends, right? So, I mean, all of this is speculation. If we look at, let me see. So when you look at the options chain, right, and at the open, these numbers I would imagine will change because, like, if I pull up anything here, sometimes Thinkorswim, no, it's got a much different delta on it. Huh. That's weird. I'm just pulling up different. I feel like I always see this change once the market opens. Like right now, it's just showing anything that's 5 or below at a 0.1 delta or a 1.0 delta. And I don't really think that's necessarily the case. If it is, and again, all these calls aren't necessarily sold by market makers either, so there's really no way to know. But if this was correct, not very many. You're looking at what 2.1 million shares here, of which 70% roughly would be hedged already at that 550 strike. So not that many. But these numbers were a lot different yesterday. And like I said, I'd imagine once the market opens, this delta will probably change a little bit. So, Patrick says, Clove Max Pain mean anything this week? You know what? Someone brought that up. I don't remember who it was. Not about Clove, but about stocks trading below max pain, and if that's going to do anything. Like if all of a sudden, it would get pushed up to 750. But I don't know that there's necessarily, again, enough incentive there with Clove. I mean, if we look at the IV, especially for like the weeklies right now or the month, this month, 21%. So, I mean, it's not like, pulling this thing up to 750 is going to make a huge difference. Just to get just to have these expire out of the money. So, and I really think that that's probably the case across the board with Clove. I mean, The IV on Clove right now is 40%. That's the lowest I think I've ever seen it. And I'll say this too. This is when you want to be an options buyer, right? So, I mean, I don't know when this thing's going to be moving again, but for me, if I was going to get in on Clove right now, I would be looking at leaps, January 23s. Shit, that's 153%. Never mind. That IV is insane. It looks like everybody else is looking at the leaps. The January's got the highest in the chain. So let me see here. Yeah, maybe not so much because I wouldn't want to be in any of these. And IV's kind of high. When you jump out here to the leaps out here, that's pretty damn high. January 23 is at 153. So never mind. Zeke says Clove to 750 today. What do you think? I could see it. I mean, if you look at yesterday, we saw a ton of, if that buying that we saw yesterday continues, I think we could see this thing continue to push back up. And maybe even, get back up to that max pain. You know, maybe even get back past it like we were on Monday. The stock is ridiculously cheap where it's at, and I know I've been saying that for months, but I believe it, and I really do think that Clove at these prices, whether it be months or years from now or whenever, you're gonna look back and be like, damn, do you remember when we had the opportunity to buy that stock at $7, and now it's trading at 10 times that, 20 times that, whatever it may be. It's just frustrating. But I can't stress this enough either. Like, I really think this is one of those plays that is probably, if you have two accounts, like I have multiple accounts, but like if you have like an investment account that you just kind of have shares in that just sit there, for the long term, that's where your Clove should be right now. And then if it does start moving and you want to do something with it in the short term, cool. But I think this is one of these stocks that you're going to want to hold on to for a long time. That's the way I've been treating it. Now, can that change? Absolutely. Analyst price target comes in and puts this thing at fair value where I think is fair value, somewhere at least around like $18 or something like that. Well, shit. All of a sudden now we could see, Turts, I just got your message right now. Let me check that out. So, if all of a sudden we get like a price target like that, yeah, we could see this stock just start flying. I mean, we saw the same thing happen with a lot of other stocks recently. So, but we're still waiting on that. Hey, so Turks just sent this to me. This is from SEC.gov. This is for SEH. Looks like we got a filing of, and this was filed today? All right. So yeah. So probably start seeing some announcements and stuff coming in soon. Yeah. I mean, that's the start of it. So now you're gonna force me to get into SEAH today. Let's see. So, anyways, with thank you for that, Turts. I appreciate it. So that could be we could be seeing some news relatively soon. Then, I'm looking for the date on there. But you're saying that got filed today? Shit. Let's see. Yeah, Turks. I agree. I agree with that too. You know, whenever they announced that they're talking moving back to Clove, whenever they announced that the filing was complete, I think we see that'll serve as a little mini catalyst as well. Um, I'll let you know. So Cuckoo Bird, it's Carolina. Here, I'll pull up Turks right now because you guys should be following him anyways. He's got a. Let's see. There's a Turks right here. Carolina Turk. He's always tweeting. Great information up there. Sly Dev says no sandwiches today. Actually, I do need to go make those sandwiches. I'm glad it's funny you guys brought that up. And I've been making I almost took a picture. I should have, because I had like all the bread. I was making my own. I had like five, the whole setup out. I was gonna take a picture and share it with you guys. I forgot. Well, let's see. So Prog, I'll go over the volume real quick. But volume on Prog right now is 21 million. Cloves looking at 237,000. So not at yeah. There was a ton of volume on Clove yesterday though. But yeah, Clove right now 237,000. But I do agree 100%. If we get an announcement that the acquisition's complete, I think we're gonna see a little bit of a pop there too. But I still think we're gonna need like a price target upgrade for anyone who's looking for a quick sudden spike in Clove. If otherwise, I think at these prices we're gonna see a kind of a slow, steady climb from here on the way back up. But all right, guys, thank you for joining. Now I only had Thomas said how many kids? Only 2 kids, but I had so he had a longer day yesterday. So I had one wanted one sandwich, the other one wanted two, and then I had to make myself a sandwich. So I just had like all this everything laid out, everything ready, and I think I made like 5 sandwiches yesterday morning. I don't know, but anyways, thank you guys again for joining. And hopefully see you guys tomorrow morning, and then close out on Friday with a nice week. Let's see Prague get some more momentum right now and get this thing pushing. All right, guys.